Peace. What does that mean? What is that? Peace is one of those words in this Christian world that we like to throw around all the time. Christians, we love to use the word peace and love and joy. But what does it mean? And why should you care? I am Adam.orellana. I'm a pastor here at CenterPoint, and I want to take just the next few minutes to try to explain very quickly what I believe the type of peace that God is calling you and I towards, the type of peace that God is trying to give us in our life. And I want to begin by reading a verse in Philippians 4:7. Philippians 4:7, I'll put it right up so you guys can read along with me. It says, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." The peace of God that transcends all understanding. I want to focus on that line. When you hear the word peace, what's the next word that comes to mind? I feel like for a lot of us, the word that easily associates with peace is quiet. Peace and quiet. When we think about peace, we think about no noise. Or maybe you think about like when your siblings or your parents are gone. Or maybe for you, peace is sitting on a beach somewhere, reading your favorite book. Or for you, peace is hanging out with your headphones and listening to your favorite music. Maybe for you, peace is watching your favorite shows uninterrupted, or hanging out with your best friend, or with your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend. Just somewhere where it's just quiet. Usually when we think about peace, we don't think about problems. We don't think about chaos. We don't think about noise. When we think about peace, we think about something that is standing still. That is what our human understanding of peace is. But this phrase in this book of Philippians in the Bible, peace that transcends all understanding. To transcend, it means to go past, to go beyond human limitations, to go beyond the limits of limitations, the limits of limitations. But to transcend means to go past whatever has been set in front of it. And so when it says that God's peace transcends all understanding, what it's saying is that it goes beyond what we can understand. So if we take a step back and now we're to ask you, what does peace mean to you? Whatever your definition is, God's definition of peace goes beyond that. See, when we think about peace, we normally think about peace when everything is good, when everything's perfect, when I'm feeling good, when I'm feeling happy, when things are going exactly my way, when I've planned things out, or maybe when I'm done working, when I'm done with school. When we think about peace, we don't think about having peace in the middle of our busyness, in the middle of our crazy lives. We don't think about peace in the middle of our anxiety or even in our own depression. So how then does God define peace if it's beyond what I can understand? See, I believe that the reason that it is that way is because the only way to understand God's peace is to experience God's peace. And how do you experience God's peace? Well, just like you experience anything with God, you ask for it. And there are some verses right before, in this same book of Philippians, right before the writer of this book says peace that transcends all understanding. Philippians 4 verse 6 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation pray." See, what he's doing is that he's trying to make you rethink your situation right now. He's saying, you're anxious? Pray. If you're feeling lonely, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling like so many things are happening in your life that you have no control over, and it's just causing you an anxiety and a feeling within you that just makes you just want to just maybe scream out or cry out, whatever it is in that moment when you're full of anxiety. Pray. You might not understand in that moment why, but you're not supposed to. See, God's peace transcends our understanding because there's no way for us to quantify it. There's no way for us to put it in words where we're going to be able to understand it. The only way we can do it is to experience it. And so the writer of Philippians is saying, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling like your day is just crazy, if you're feeling the busyness of everything that's happening around you, if you just want your life to come to a standstill, you just need a break, you need some time for yourself, you need some time to think, you need some time to just sit down and reevaluate your life. In the middle of all of that that's going on, don't wait. Don't wait for peaceful moments so that you can have time to think and feel and evaluate. No. In the middle of your anxiety, pray. See, I believe that the only way we can come to know God's peace is by experiencing it. And the only way that we're going to experiencing it is by challenging the things that are holding that peace behind. I want you to ask yourself right now, what is holding my peace? What's keeping peace away from my life? What are the things that when I think about, they're not a peaceful thought? You know, I'll be honest with you, in our household, I have two little girls, two twin girls that are about a year and a half now, Eleanor and Sophia, and they run. They're not crawling anymore. They're not walking anymore. They run. They literally run from one corner of our place all the way to the other. And that's what they do. They get their energy out and they love it. Now, I love watching them. I love hanging out with them. I love seeing them walk and run and grow and jump and laugh. But I have to be honest, it can get a little exhausting. So the moments of peace in our household are the 2 to 3 hours that they go down for a nap in the middle of the day. Every once in a while, we can get 2 naps in, and then it's like incredible. We can hang out, we can chill, we can clean, we can work on some stuff. But when they're running around and they're crazy, that doesn't feel like a peaceful moment. And I've come to so many times, I've been in days where maybe I'm stressed about something, or maybe my work is just overwhelming me, or maybe we need to get the car fixed and it's at the shop, or I'm having issues with family or this or that, and the girls are running around and I just want a moment of peace. I just want some time to myself. I just want some time where I can sit and breathe in that moment. When I start to feel that anxiety build up and the tension and all of those things start to build up in my body, you know what I do? I pray. Not because I'm holier than anybody, or not because as a Christian, that's what I should do, even though it is. But the reason why I do that is because I know that the only way for me to find peace in that moment is if I challenge the thing that is holding my peace back. That's the only way that I'll be able to experience the peace that God is talking about. Because to me, peace means the girls are in bed and they're asleep, and I don't have to think about them. I don't have to deal with them. All I do is my work, or all I do is hang out with my wife, or all I do is work on something that I want to do, or maybe I do nothing and just sit in silence. For me, that's peace. But peace does so much to us. When we find peace, we find rest. Our mind just takes a load off and it feels like it can breathe again. When we find peace, we release tension in our physical body. Peace does so much good for us. And so many times, because we're caught up thinking that peace only means when things are still and quiet, and we're searching for those things. We're searching for that moment where our thoughts are going to stop, where that voice inside our head is no longer going to torment us. When our insecurities and our emotions and our loneliness and our depression and even our suicidal thoughts, our lust and our passions, when those things just stop, maybe I'll have some peace. But God is telling you right now, what you have to do is challenge the things that make you feel like you have no peace. And while it's happening, challenge it. While my girls are running around crazy, and they're laughing and they're taking toys here and there and getting into things that they're not supposed to, and I'm maybe thinking about getting some work done, or I'm trying to get some work done, and I can't focus on this and on that. I challenge the thing that is taking peace away from me. I say, God, you know that I can't handle this right now. God, I just need you to help me. I need you to just give me a sense of peace right now. And as I'm praying, I start to realize what's happening around me. Instead of looking at my daughters who are running around and having fun and being noisy and being crazy and being distracting, I start to think about, man, how incredible is it that there are these two beautiful little girls that are running around that love their papa, that love to play, and they're just happy, and they're joking around, and they're hugging each other, and they're playing and here and there. What a blessing I have that I can spend this time with them. You know, sometimes when work gets crazy and it's overwhelming and I have 2, 3, 4, 5 things that I have to do, a video I have to make, worship that I have to do, things that I have to write, things I have to read, in the middle of all of that, I can get confused and overwhelmed. But when I start to pray and I say, God, please give me peace around this, and I pray that and I challenge it, you know what happens? I start to think about, wow, what a blessing it is that I have a job. What a blessing it is that I can do what I do. What a blessing it is that God has put me in a place where I can work, where we can have food, and where we can have clothes on our backs, where we can pay for our shelter. You know, you might be going through some stuff in your life right now where it feels like the anxiety is overwhelming, the stress is overwhelming, the loneliness is overwhelming, the depression is overwhelming. All of these things could be overwhelming. And you're just thinking, God, I just want a moment of peace. God, I just want a moment where I don't have to think about anything, where I don't have to worry about anything, where I don't have to do anything. Sometimes in the middle of all of that craziness, in the middle of everything that's happiness, the busyness, and all the voices in your head, in the middle of all of that, there is peace. And it might not make sense, but it's not supposed to. That's why the writer says God's peace transcends all understanding. You're not going to get it until you experience it. So this week, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to pay attention. Pay attention when you start to become anxious and stressed, and your body starts to tense up, and the thoughts in your head start to go and go and go, and they're not stopping. Pay attention to those times. Pay attention, be aware, and then say, God, help me find peace in this. God, help me find peace in this. And just say that over and over. God, help me find peace in this. And you'll start to see how your perspective on the things that are causing you stress is going to start to change. You'll see how the things that maybe are worrying you, that are hurting you, you're going to start to see them differently. The thing about God's peace is that it's not that it makes problems go away. It's not that it makes stress go away. It's not that it takes all of the responsibilities off of your shoulders. The thing about God's peace is that it reminds you that you are more than just your problems. You are more than just your anxiety. You are more than just your loneliness. You are more than just your depression. You are more than just your job. You are more than just your family. You are created by God. And you were created to love and be loved. And so many times, because we're chasing things that make us think that if I have this, then I'll be loved. If I do that, then I'll be worthy. If I do this, then someone will care about me. And so many times we're fighting God's love, all because we're focused on the things that are taking peace away from us. But God is calling you. He's asking you. He's telling you right now, there is peace in the middle of everything that you are going through. There is peace. And all you have to do is challenge the things that are taking that peace away from you and say, God, give me peace inside of this. Give me peace. Help me find peace. And let God show you the way. Peace that transcends all understanding. Even if everything that I said didn't make sense to you, that's okay. It's not supposed to. All of this will only make sense after you've experienced it. So I want to challenge you this week. Even if you've never prayed before, or even if praying to you still feels a little weird, or even if your relationship with God is kind of muddy, or maybe you don't even have a relationship with God at all. Why don't you take the step to start having a relationship with Him? Just take this small step. Whenever you start to feel anxious, whenever you start to feel lonely, whenever you start to feel suicidal, whenever you start to feel lustful or tempted and you want to do things you're not supposed to do, say, God, help me find peace in this. Help me find peace in this. I believe that God's peace is transcendent. And it goes beyond our understanding, beyond our human limitations. It goes beyond anything that we could ever imagine. And the most beautiful thing about all of this is that this peace is promised to you and I. It's promised. And all we have to do is ask for it. The writer of this book of Philippians, right before he writes about God's peace, he says, if you're feeling anxious about anything, pray. That's the best way to turn things around, is just pray. Thank you so much for being a part, for just listening. Thank you so much for taking this time to, maybe this isn't what you want to hear, maybe this isn't what you like, but this is what I felt God wanted me to share. And even if this is just for me, even if this was just something that I needed to hear, something that I needed to read, well then, amen. Thank you, God, for reminding me that I need peace in my life, and peace that transcends all understanding. But I want to encourage you, wherever you are, I want you to connect with us. I want you to connect with our church. And the best way to do it is if you go to the CenterPoint.org. You'll find ways where you can not only connect with me during the week by being part of our Zoom meetings, but you'll also find a church. We are live every Sunday at 10 a.m. and we also rebroadcast our services at 8 p.m. So if you don't have a chance to watch it early in the morning, you can watch it later in the evening. And there's a chat, so you can talk to people, you can talk to our hosts, and we even have a prayer team if you have special prayer requests. So I encourage you to be a part of that. If you're watching this on a Sunday, go to the CenterPoint.org, and you'll see where you can watch live. You'll even be able to see past messages. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I want you to subscribe. I want you to be a part of these videos. I'm going to try as much as I can to post these videos as often as I can. I know that I haven't been punctual. I haven't been the best at this, but I can blame it on all the things that are going on around me. But like I said, I just have to pray. I got to ask God for peace, and I have to do it more often. I'm not doing it as much as I should be doing it. And I'm challenging myself the same way that I'm challenging you to find time, find that peace with God, find that peace with God. So I encourage you to connect with us, the CenterPoint.org, the CenterPoint.org/thrive. If you're watching this on YouTube, just subscribe right now. Be a part of everything that's happening. I have links in the description for all of our social media, so you can follow us there. Contact information for me, and the CenterPoint.org/thrive is a great way to connect with our youth. We are serving middle school, high school, and even 18 to 24-year-olds. We want to have an opportunity to reach all of our young people wherever you are and whenever you can watch this. So thank you so much for being a part of this, and I hope you can see me soon.